Hi, everyone, and welcome to our mini interview. Today, we're going to talk about soft skills, which is a very hot topic right now, believe you me. And today, I have a guest, Manal Sayid, who is going to talk to me about soft skills and actually all sorts of skills and why they're important, how you can develop them, and things like that. So I'm going to let Manal introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Lana, for having me and speaking on one of my most favorite topics. So my name is Manal, and I am a facilitator and consultant. And essentially what I do is a lot of stakeholder engagement, so strategic planning workshops, AGMs, and just generally getting folks who are different stakeholders into the same room and doing consensus building workshops and getting them to brainstorm on different ideas. And then towards the end of it, coming out with an action plan and a plan to execute and just walking them through that decision-making process and making sure that everybody is included and involved and committed and has buy-in, and towards the end of it, they all agree to an outcome. So I just love getting people together who don't necessarily agree, and towards the end of it, coming up with an action plan. So that's what I do as a living.
That's amazing. And I know from when I first met you that you have some experience in HR. So you are more than qualified to talk about the topic of soft skills with me today.
Yes, both as an entrepreneur and I study change management. I do a lot of change management. So I incorporate a lot of change management principles into my sessions and my workshops and with my clients.
Amazing. So the reason I want to talk about this topic is, well, first of all, it is a hot topic. I'm seeing a lot of content on LinkedIn and on Instagram, people talking about the importance of soft skills. And obviously they're important. But why I'm doing this so urgently is because I came across this article and I thought that we could just start with something that I read in here. So they define soft skills as skills that enable you to fit in a workplace, and they include your personality, attitude, flexibility, motivation, and manners. Soft skills are so important, they claim, that they are often the reason employers decide to whether to keep you or promote you. Also, they differentiate between soft skills and hard skills. Hard skills are sometimes also referred to as technical skills. And those are the skills that are relevant to the job for which you're going to apply. So for folks who are working in inherently non-technical professions, your technical skills would just be what the job listing says you absolutely must have in order to actually be able to do the job, while the soft skills would be why you're a good fit at that job. These are my personal definitions. I know it's an oversimplification, but this is how you can wrap your mind around it. And soft skills are not always as quantifiable as hard skills. So this is what they say, and this gave me an idea to reach out to you and talk to you a little bit about this. So now that I've defined the meaning of these two categories, what I would like to ask, what is your definition of hard skills and soft skills? How would you explain this to a person?
Well, having worked in HR, I kind of like this one quote that's kind of been drilled down, and it's kind of like hard skills will get you the interview, soft skills will get you the job. And the way I see it, soft skills are the differentiator. And so there's this book that I read a while ago by Daniel Priestley, and it's called Key Person of Influence. And in this book, in one chapter, he goes over two types of folks in the workplace. He goes the functional and then the vitality. So the functional are those folks that, come into the job, they're competent, they get the job done, they meet their deadlines and all that sort of thing. But then there's also a person who has vitality, right? They come with an extra something. So that's their ability to communicate with folks, their passion, their enthusiasm, their ability to work hard, all of those things that is available to all of us, but we just necessarily don't hone them. And it kind of goes back to, how soft skills is the differentiator factor, because yes, you can hire a functional person and they will get the job done. But at the end of the day, it's that person who has the vitality that adds an extra value to the work that they're doing. And although it can sound like it's a personality thing, and maybe sometimes it is a cultural fit in the organization to have some of these soft skills, but for the most part, these soft skills can be learned.
Can you give some examples of your favorite soft skills? I know I have my favorite three. They are resilience, adaptability, and assertiveness. What about you?
For me, it would definitely be communication. So, so just a little about me. It's kind of funny how I landed a job as a facilitator, where I'm guiding discussions and conversations. Because when I was younger, I actually was extremely shy. I had all of the information in my head, but I didn't necessarily know how to communicate it. And so I enrolled in workshops, and particularly specifically Toastmasters. So I'm sure a lot of folks have heard of Toastmasters, and it's just given me that that confidence and that ability to be able to communicate better, right? So that is one soft skill that I really value. I think it is applicable to all jobs, any job, every job. Just our ability to communicate with our fellow colleagues, with our fellow clients, with our employees, employers. And so that is one soft skill that I really value. And then through the process of gaining those communication skills, I also gained other soft skills, such as confidence, right? And just not having that self-doubt that comes with voicing our opinion and our thoughts and our yeah.
Absolutely. So when I jotted down questions to ask you, I put down these 3 questions. Given to candidates with similar hard skills, will soft skills determine who gets the job? And I think you've already answered that partially, because soft skills will determine whether you get the job. Hard skills are the bare minimum you need to have to actually qualify for the job, to be selected as an applicable candidate. But hard skills in the world as it is today, where communication is extremely important, it's just not enough on their own. And so the follow-up questions I had was, will you get access to better quality projects if you have good soft skills? Or will you get a promotion? You know, like, are you closer to those things? Do you think that they will swing the balance in your favor? Working on your having soft skills, developing them, and constantly working on them. Will you actually get better quality work? Will you be selected possibly for even a more senior position?
I think that's an obvious answer, Lana. Absolutely. And so just like one example of it is, like I said, I used to be extremely shy, and just coming out of my comfort zone and developing that confidence and that ability to communicate, it's really made me see that I actually love working with people. I love networking. I love getting to know folks. And so that's enabled me to go to a lot of networking events, right? Like, I thrive on networking events and just getting to know people and where they come from and their background and their story. And of course, the more you network and the more you get to know people, the more opportunities are available, right? For example, the event that we presented in, I would have never met you if I didn't go to that event and if I wasn't open to that opportunity, right? And so just developing the soft skills and actually going through that process, it's not necessarily I'm going to do it because I want to get paid more, but it really is like a personally fulfilling journey, because you no longer live in that small bubble, in that comfort zone. You kind of expand your circle and you get to know folks. So it just makes your job a lot more fulfilling as well, as opposed to I'm going to come in, I'm going to do my job, and then I'm going to clock out, right? Which might be okay for some folks, but we spend so much time in our jobs. So we might as well make it an enjoyable experience. And just that process of developing our soft skills definitely opens up the door to more opportunities, and people who are more enthusiastic, more love their jobs a lot more, just more folks want to work with them more, right? And so we all have those technical skills, but it's those soft skills that are the differentiating factor for us, and it's fulfilling for everyone that's involved.
I think so too. I think if you come across a coworker, or maybe this person isn't in your team, but they do work at the company, and they have that attitude where, what more can you possibly want from me? I've done my job. Please leave me alone. I'm here for the job. I think maybe in some cases that is genuinely what they want. And I wouldn't actually go and assume that somehow, you know, they've closed themselves off, or they're resisting being a part of the collective. Maybe that's just a personality trait. However, I've been now at many different companies. Some are more technical and some are more business oriented. And I know what it's like to have a number of those people on the team, and also being kind of more into, I like it when the wheels are greased with manners. I like it when the wheels are greased with communication, when the information is forthcoming, when you don't have to pull teeth, when people actually care and express what they care about in a you know, in a business appropriate and professional manner. So I think that it doesn't serve anybody to completely shut yourself off, unless this is absolutely who you are, and I wouldn't be trying to pull you into the world of this great communication and everything. You know, this is completely voluntary, but I do think people who generally come to work, do their job and leave, should actually consider breaking out of their shell a little bit within that environment of a job. If it's really an unnatural skill to you, you can think about it as something that will make the project run smoother, something that will make it easier for people to recognize your contribution. So yes, maybe it seems unnatural, and by all means, don't overdo it if it's too much, exposing your personality and being out there, you know, if it's really uncomfortable for you. But I definitely would consider investing a little bit more effort than you already are investing, you know, because it's a good idea. And so my tips are always to try to go just a little bit outside of your comfort zone. You don't have to do anything that's completely out of your personality, that's not consistent with your values, but push yourself a little bit out there to talk a little bit more, describe your contribution, you know, make sure that people see you, people realize your importance. This goes a long way. If nobody knows who you are and you're just fingers typing on the keyboard, then you may not be able to get the, you know, the fruits of your labor. You may not have what should be coming to you, because you may not get that recognition just because you haven't put yourself out there. How can people develop the skills? So I know you've mentioned Toastmasters for communication. What about other things like assertiveness? How can people build that?
I think it all comes with practice, right? So even with decision making, like practice with simple decisions. And I know, like, I always go with like the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So folks who are who find difficulty in making decisions in the workplace, chances are they're having difficulty making decisions with like small things at home, right? Like, should I have rice or should I have pasta? So just being like, it can honestly be as simple as that. It's like developing that like quick way of making decisions that'll translate onto like actual things that matter. Not to say that food doesn't matter, it does matter, but I'm just saying like in an organizational context. And so just practicing and developing that skill, and assertiveness is a hard one for a lot of folks, and boundary setting. So just getting to know who you are, what sets you off, what ticks you off, and then developing the courage. Again, that goes back to self-confidence, developing the courage to say yes and no to certain things, right? And so different soft skills have different mechanisms for developing them, but it mostly comes down to, you mentioned it before, Lana, but just being open, right? So the soft skill of being adaptable, right? And so a lot of folks in my field as facilitators, they've had to adapt quite a bit. Usually strategic planning sessions were done in weekend retreats at a hotel, right? That's no longer available. So we have to shift into a virtual setting, and if you don't shift, then you're kind of left behind, right? And so just being open to the opportunity. Yes, it's so uncomfortable navigating this new space, but let me look at the opportunities that are available, and just being optimistic and open to that idea. And of course, there are more practical things to do. I mentioned Toastmasters. That's a big one for me, because I feel like that hits so many soft skills on so many different levels. But yeah, it just depends on the soft skill, and generally it just comes down to being open and coming out of your comfort zone.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Manal, for giving me a little bit of your time to talk about soft skills. I know it's the kind of topic that just goes out like a branch of a large oak tree. You start pulling, you know, on one leaf and the whole tree shakes. So if you tap into, you know, the right mentality, there's so much stuff to talk about. And this openness can actually allow you to prepare yourself for bigger and greater things that are yet to come. And nobody should be feeling forced to do whatever they don't want
Yes,
to do. All I'm
absolutely.
suggesting, and I think both of us are suggesting, is if you have the willingness to be a little bit more open and looking at what developing soft skills can bring you, they can take you a long way. And I just wanted to mention that in my career strategy program, you know, I work with a person for a number of weeks to get to know them really well, and then we start forming a collaborative strategy for their career growth. And what we do in the end is we select 3 top, and I don't mean top like from just item 1, 2, and 3, but 3 important general items that will open the most doors. So they could be actually, a lot of them actually end up being working on a person's soft skills because they're an investment in a lot of other things that can happen. So I like to set a person up with these strategies. We design little projects to help people practice whatever skill that they identify they don't have, but will open up the most doors. So really it's like an early investment in something like this really has a lot of benefit over the long term. Thank you guys for listening, and
Thank you so much, Lana.
next time.
Yeah,
Bye.
totally agree. Totally agree. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.